patient. You're a freshman. You got a lot more football left in you.
Oh, no.
Man, all right, so there's Saints-Rams game now where the Drew Brees hand quickly became the big story. Brees had to leave the game after his throwing hand was hit by Aaron Donald. Didn't look like a big hit, but it took a big toll. Brees saying afterwards, yeah, I am concerned, hoping it's not too significant. The Saints quarterback will be seeing a hand specialist in Los Angeles later today. Saints lost the game and perhaps their quarterback in the process. CC, how devastating could this be for the Saints?
Well, the Saints are in a little bit better position than most teams. I said before the season, I thought there were two backup quarterbacks in the league that ultimately will be starters. Jacoby Brissett with the Colts. Unfortunately, Andrew Luck calls it quits before his 30th birthday. Jacoby Brissett, they thought that too because they give him the big contract to tear up his old deal, give him the big contract that he would be making starting quarterback money. And the other one would be Teddy Bridgewater. Now, I do believe that Jacoby Brissett has a lot better arm than Teddy Bridgewater has, but the overall offense and how they run their offense, and Teddy's been there now for more than a year with Sean Payton. I got a lot of confidence in Sean Payton. And then also, out of the 60, 65 plays the offense is going to run, Teddy can be removed of some of that burden by Taysom Hill. The quarterback, the utility, the Swiss Army knife, special teams guy, fullback, slot guy, a guy they use out of the backfield, a guy they use in the Wildcat formation. So they're in a unique situation there in New Orleans. They're not like most teams. If they lose their quarterback, their season's over with. So I believe that Teddy, because Drew Brees doesn't have a great arm, he just has anticipation, timing, and he's been with Sean Payton for so long. Teddy doesn't have that big arm, but he does have the anticipation. The offense will suffer some. Drew Brees is one of the greatest that we've ever seen. But with Sean Payton, I have a little more confidence than I would going around the National Football League if any of the other starting quarterbacks are hurt.
I hope you're right about Teddy Bridgewater because I've been with you on that corner, that he is one of the best backups in the league. He got paid like he was one of the backups that would one day be a starter. My concern for Teddy is the last time he's looked like a starting quarterback in this league was 2015, which is the last time he was a starting quarterback in this league. Obviously, in 2016, he suffered a horrific, gruesome knee injury where they thought he might lose his leg. 2017, he plays one series of football. We saw it at the very end of the year with the magical Minnesota Vikings year. He got in briefly last season, didn't play well. Got in briefly yesterday, didn't play well. And when it's been that long since you've had success, it does concern me that even though his trajectory year one, year two in the NFL was, oh, he's going to at the very least be a middle of the pack, if not above average starter, is that who he still can be? Because the Saints have, and you brought this up before the show, Jenna, almost no real experience playing without Drew Brees since he got there. Since he got there, he's missed 4 games. 2 of those were end of season. We have the 1 seed locked up. We don't need to play you, so he's only missed 2 games due to injury. Sean Payton coaching the Saints, almost no experience really without Drew Brees. Brees has more experience playing without Payton because the year Payton was suspended. And so how much will the lack of a true number 2 receiver, which the Saints were worried about last year, which was a concern for them going into this year, how much will that hurt them now that they have a far inferior quarterback? Because even if Teddy is one of the best backups in the league, Drew Brees is one of the best players in the league. And so for the Saints, who had hopes of returning to or getting back to a Super Bowl for the first time in years, of getting vindication for what they felt was stolen from them last year, this is an enormous blow, and potentially the biggest story of the season thus far is Drew Brees on a team as good as the Saints being out for potentially multiple weeks. We don't know, but they seemed pessimistic about Brees's upcoming availability, to say the very least.
Well, the Saints didn't win the game. They lost to the Rams. A little deja vu for them in the process. So once again, they were on the wrong side of a missed call. Jared Goff appears to fumble, leading to a Cam Jordan scoop and score on an 89-yard fumble return. But the refs blow the play dead, call an incompletion. You heard the whistle. The play is reviewed and ruled a fumble. But since the whistle was blown, the Saints gained possession at the spot of the recovery, negating the go-ahead touchdown. Needless to say, Cam Jordan was not happy.
I mean, I didn't even hear the whistle. I grabbed the ball 15, 20 yards down, and allegedly a whistle was blown. Clearly, I mean, a whistle was blown. Where normally you let the play happen. Any referee usually tells you you let the play happen, and then you go back and review the play.
Nick, what is it with this Saints team? Why do they seem to end up in the same position?
Well, I mean, that's just bad luck, and the fact that it was against the Rams is going to make extra salt in the wound.
Sure is.
After what happened in the NFC Championship game, after how much they talked about what happened in the NFC Championship game, the league changed the rules because of it. But to me, obviously, the stakes are not nearly the same. But this is almost worse than, as from a refereeing perspective, than what happened in the NFC Championship game, because it's preventable. That we hear the retired refs who are on TV all the time say, given the fact that you now have review, ever since review's been implemented, they are coached, they are taught, err on the side of letting the play go on because we can fix it after the fact. What is not fixable is if you blow the play dead and then all of a sudden a touchdown's taken off the board. And the other reason this one is particularly egregious is I don't know anyone watching that game that didn't think this was a fumble. If you were watching it with no sound on, you thought without question that's a fumble, a scoop, and by the way, a much faster than anticipated Cam Jordan streaking down the sideline for a touchdown. And he gets overshadowed because of Drew Brees' injury and because they ended up losing by 18 points. But this is a really, really bad mistake by the refs, and it's a preventable one if you let the play go as they say they are taught to do.
Well, I disagree with you as far as it's preventable. And the reason why is because when you're in the game, the referee is watching the action. And if he thinks it's an incompleted pass, why wouldn't he blow his whistle? And a lot of times if you don't blow your whistle in little plays like that, guys get hurt. So they blow the whistle to make sure guys stop going. You also have to realize there's typically 60,000 to 80,000 people there. So the guys don't hear the whistle and everything. But the referee's training, you can't stop the instincts of the referee so that he can think, oh, I have replay. Oh, there's no need for me to blow the whistle, when it's a natural reaction for him, if he thinks it's an incomplete pass, to blow the whistle dead, to make sure no one's going for the loose ball, to make sure no one gets hurt. So, yeah, obviously after I watched the replay, yes, of course it was a fumble. But we've had this play in the NFL for a long time. Inadvertent whistle. All the time. It stops it. All the players know that. If this doesn't happen to the Saints, we're probably not reviewing it the way we are. If they don't have the play last year against the Rams, it doesn't have necessarily the attention. But we have seen this, an inadvertent whistle, an open hand. We've seen this. This was like Tom Brady with the tuck rule. So it's not the first time that we've seen this play. It's just, unfortunately, for the Saints and the opposition, happen to be the same two teams.
So did this Saints team lose the game yesterday because of getting outplayed by the Rams, or because of the whistles and because Drew Brees was out?
I mean, how about all the above? I mean, we don't know. It's certainly, now that we know how the game ended, it looks like, okay, even if the Saints get that touchdown, they probably lose. But we don't know that. That is the single biggest play you can have in football as far as adding to your chances of winning are a defensive or a special team score. This was a defensive score when Drew Brees was already knocked out of the game. So instead of having it be 10-3, you're kicking off, you're now asking Teddy Bridgewater, pressed into action mid-game, to drive the field 87 yards, which he obviously was unable to do. And the reason, Chris, that I thought this was different than most, we thought it was incomplete, but it's a fumble, is because it wasn't an instantaneous whistle. It was Cam Jordan had picked up the ball and was already running by the time they blew their whistle. So
I think one of the other refs overruled him and said that he blew his whistle. The first whistle we thought we heard was the one late. But obviously when they came together, someone must have blown it dead. If not, they wouldn't have been able to rule it.
No. Once we all heard the whistle late. And once that happens, the best thing that can happen for the Saints is the ball where they got it. They can't say, okay, you get it 30 yards upfield.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you see a pass and it's a lateral, but it looks like it was forward. They instantly blow the whistle, and you look on replay, damn, like that's a big play. This one, to me, was officiating-wise worse than that. That's a Super Bowl official, by the way. It's not that it's a bad official. It's that was a really, really tough spot. And to your point, pardon me, it being Saints-Rams going against the Saints, it feels extra bad for people watching the game.
Yeah, but the Rams, they lost their star on the defense. He wasn't able to be there. Aaron Donald, he was gone most of the game. Drew Brees only played 2 series. So I'm just going to give you a couple stats. Alvin Kamara, he has 13 carries, 3.5 yards, 45 yards rushing. You think the Saints are going to win a game? He has the longest carries, 12 yards? No. Michael Thomas, he has 10 catches, 89 yards. You think they're going to win a game where you guys 89 yards? No. So we can blame it on the fumble, but they didn't generate any offense after that. Drew Brees was gone most of the game. Teddy Bridgewater struggled. The offense struggled. Yes, that was a big missed call, but the Rams played totality better than the Saints did and deserved to win the game.
More than one opportunity to win it after that call. All right, coming up, another monster game for Dak Prescott. Talk some Cowboys next on First Things First.